Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Monday, February 28th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. We have archives at the top of the page. We just put some cool stuff up last week, including on the Wayback Machine and some other features we have up there. The demolition of the old arena. It was 12 years ago yesterday that they knocked that thing down. And I always know that I have good stuff on the features because I start getting them back. They get sent back to me. Somebody will send me over the weekend, hey, JC, you got to see this, the implosion of the old arena. I was like, yeah, it came from my website. Somebody sent it to you, and then it comes back around. It makes me laugh. It makes me smile. It means it's good stuff. So we got stuff up there that you can look at. And then, of course, the eye candy feature along the bottom of the page. I want to give kudos to the weather guys. It's been a tough winter for the weather guys, but let's give credit where credit is due. On Thursday morning, they had this forecast nailed 100%. They said that Sunday night there would be big storms, tornadoes, damaging winds, the works, and they had it right. They had it right almost 4 days in advance. You got to give credit where credit is due. So congratulations to those guys. I thought at one point last night our house was going to be blown right off the foundation for about 10 seconds. It was pretty scary around here. Anyhow, let's go to the Oscars. I was expecting a train wreck. It wasn't a train wreck, but it was just a terrible, boring show. First of all, I had 100% reliability, I guess you would say, on my Oscar picks. And that's part of the problem. I should be able to be sitting here in St. Louis and just say, well, here's all the winners of all the major categories. That's ridiculous. There's no drama. There's no suspense. There's nothing to watch for. And that's part of their problem. And, it starts with the pregame show with Robin Roberts. This is one of those things you just look at and you go, how the hell did she even get on TV? She's absolutely dreadful. And this goes back to the women's Olympic soccer team I guess it was about 10 years ago. And, they had it at the Rose Bowl, and, it was the hottest ticket in town. And she's going on and on and on about how, well, women's athletics has been changed forever. And it's like, no, it was a one-time thing. And then Carlos Santana comes up while she's doing stuff, and she's like, hey, here's Santana. Well, his name is Carlos. It's not like the band walked up. So she blew all of her credibility as far as I was concerned when she did all that. And she's just useless on television. Everybody is wonderful. You're just fabulous. Oh, you're just sensational. Oh, talk to me. And it's like, God. Thought Matthew McConaughey's wife looked pretty good. Congratulations to that dressmaker. Maria Menounos looking great. Sandra Bullock. You didn't probably see it on the telecast last night, but if you were watching the pregame show where they got the camera right up in her face and there wasn't any special lighting or anything like that, the poor woman, I think, has aged about 10 years with everything that's going on in her personal life. That's the bad news. The good news is she still looks pretty good, but boy, I think this thing has really taken its toll on her. Now let's go to the hosts, Anne Hathaway. You know how sometimes little girls break into their mother's makeup closet and then you come walking in and it's like, sort of what she looked like. She looked like the Joker last night. You can't have that white skin and then go with that bright red makeup. It just doesn't look right. And, James Franco seemed to have one expression the entire night, and then he comes out in a dress. Really? Really? Somebody thought that was a good idea? Scarlett Johansson looked great last night. Again, Jennifer Hudson with all that weight loss, but the girls were still out last night, if you know what I mean. The opener of the show has been done a million times. Ben Stiller used to do it. He did it 15, 20 years ago, where you insert the MC of the show into the actual footage of some of the movies. Just seen it on the internet a million times. Weak opening monologue, or two-spot they call them in the business when you have two people up there. It was coming off like Donnie and Marie. Now, what they were trying to do is get a younger audience, so they get James Franco and Anne Hathaway. So then what do? One step forward, 3 steps back. They bring out Kirk Douglas, who's like 190. Then they've got Melissa Leo, who almost nobody has heard of. Then you've got the first award was for Best Set Direction. That's really how you're going to start your big whiz-bang Oscar show, with Best Set Direction? You kidding me? Then they go to animated shorts, unknown people on stage. Aaron Sorkin finally comes out there, gives a halfway decent speech. The auto-tune guys, where they have the people making it sound like they're singing. Again, I've seen more creative use of that on the internet. Billy Crystal comes out to be a presenter. He gets a standing ovation. You know why? Because that's the audience in Hollywood going, please come back. A hologram of Bob Hope. Bob Hope has virtually no relevance to anybody under the age of about 45. So they're trying to go for a younger audience, and then they do a series of stupid movies like this. It just doesn't make sense. Nobody's thinking. Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law were funny. That was nice. Randy Newman, who we saw at the Sheldon Theater on Friday night. Great show, by the way. He has a song called Marie, which I'm sitting there watching. It was like about the fourth song he did on Friday night at the Sheldon. By the way, thanks to the people at the Sheldon for the great seats. It was very, very nice of you. But this song, Marie, just brings tears to your eyes. It's just absolutely beautiful. Randy Newman is a funny guy. He's an acquired taste. Triple C didn't like the show. Randy Newman, great to see him on stage last night. Great to see him get an award. What do we got here? Tom Hooper, good speech about his mom, actually bringing to his attention the script of the King's Speech, or at least the idea of making it into a movie. Jeff Bridges, great presenter when they look right at the person nominated. Sandra Bullock did that too. But all in all, just a real thud. I mean, if the idea was to do something new and different, great. It was just a boring, dull show last night. Gwyneth Paltrow, by the way, she can sing when she's in the studio, and apparently when she tries to do it live, it doesn't work so well. So that's the deal there. Let's talk about another television thing last night, and that was the 5 o'clock news on Channel 5. And they started showing video from Cardinal Spring Training. They had an inter-squad game yesterday, and the video that was broadcast on television last night was clearly shot either on a cell phone or a flip cam. This is a major television station, a major newscast, the 5 o'clock news on a Sunday in market number 21, and we're getting an extremely shaky, unprofessional video of the Cardinal spring training inter-squad game yesterday. I've run out of ways of trying to explain to you how horrified I am about what I'm watching on local TV these days. It's unbelievable. It's like a cell phone video on the news. I don't know. We did our Oscar show on the Big 550 KTRS. Me and Trish did it on Friday. Eric Mink was in and Joe Holloman from the Post-Dispatch. Thanks to those guys. I mentioned that because over the weekend I got two interesting complaint emails. One was about the Oscar show. JC, what are you doing an Oscar show for? 3 hours of that? Come on. All right, I'll get to that in a minute. And also another guy, different email, different guy, who is complaining about the fact that I talk about Charlie Sheen during the entertainment report. Okay, number one. For the better part of 2.5 decades, before Valentine's Day, we do a Valentine's Day show with all the music and the comedy and everything. And then before opening day, we do that with all the music and the comedy. And we do the same thing for the 4th of July and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and a couple of other holidays in there too. Been doing that for about 2.5 decades. And it seems to work pretty well. People seem to like it. The baseball show is in the archives in Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame. And then the Charlie Sheen thing. Yeah, it's only the biggest entertainment story in the entire industry right now, and has been for 2 or 3 weeks now. It's only the biggest entertainment story. Let me just tell you something Bob Costas said about 15 years ago. He said when you're in the public eye, when you're in the media, you're gonna probably get 3 different kinds of criticism. And I'm going to add one, by the way. But he said 3 different kinds of criticism. One is the kind where you read it and you go, the guy actually makes a point. Could have maybe done that a little better, a little different. That's fine. Criticism number 2, where you look at it and you go, no, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I had to make a decision, I had to make a choice, and you have to make a million choices every hour when you're doing a live radio or TV show. And you just look at it and you go, no, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I totally disagree with his criticism. And then the third criticism that Costas talked about was the stuff that just comes completely out of left field. Stuff that doesn't even make sense. And from people who don't even sound like they're all there. And I'm going to add a fourth one, and that is, because Bob talked about this 15 years ago, but I'm going to throw in the texts, the emails, the chat rooms, the message boards, and all that stuff that's all over the internet, where people who apparently are just so unhappy, so miserable in their own lives, that in their world, what you do is you get on a computer and you just start typing out the meanest, creepiest stuff that you're capable of churning out. I don't know. I'm running out of ways, as I said, of trying to describe some of the stuff that goes on these days. But, if I ever need an assistant producer, I'll let you know. Until then, I'm going to make the best choices I think I can make, the best decisions I think I can make, and I'm going to try and do the show as I know how to do it. And it seems to have worked pretty well so far. So that's that. All right, JC's Eye Candy today. This is a tough way to make a living. Normally, I don't have the least bit of interest in the professional bull riding series that was here in town at the Scott Trade Center over the weekend, but man, Bill Greenblatt, who shoots a lot of our pictures for United Press International, UPI, sent me 3 that are just unbelievable. I mean, including one where the bull's horn is going through the guy's back. Now, it looks like he's wearing a Kevlar vest or something that apparently keeps the guy from getting killed, which I think is cheating, by the way, because if you're going to antagonize the bull and then ride him, then if you get thrown and the bull tries to gore you, I think that, if you're wearing a piece of equipment that keeps the bull from getting his word on this, I think that's sort of cheating. I don't want to see people get hurt or killed, but, So anyhow, we have those 3 pictures up there, and it is a tough way to make a living, as we said. And tomorrow, we'll have more stuff for you. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about all the stuff that goes into a live remote broadcast from a place like Florida. So we'll talk about that tomorrow here on The Daily Dose. And again, archives top of the page, including that arena implosion video from 12 years ago yesterday, and of course Eye Candy right along the bottom of the screen. We are on the air along with Trish Gazelle, Trish's Trash, every weekday from 10 to 1 on the Big 550 KTRS. One more show tomorrow, and then it's off to spring training. The first of 4 shows from Jupiter begins Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock on the Big 550 KTRS. That's it, JC's Daily Dose for Monday, February 28th, 2011. A combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.